The 1950s, a decade where luxury meant more than a badge. It was a statement. These were the cars that rolled off the assembly line, not as mere transportation, but as rolling art, symbols of status and engineering ambition. Today, we're revisiting the 15 most luxurious cars of the 1950s, machines that set the gold standard for comfort, design, and presence. Some are legendary, others quietly regal, but each defined what it meant to arrive in style. Let's step back in time. Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud, 1955-1959. For generations, Rolls-Royce has represented the pinnacle of automotive luxury, and the Silver Cloud stands as its definitive statement for the post-war era. Debuting in 1955, the Silver Cloud took everything people revered about Rolls-Royce proportions, the effortless grace, and that unmistakable presence, and distilled it into a package that was somehow both traditional and refreshingly modern. The long, uninterrupted fender lines, massive upright grille, and those delicately arched headlamps all projected an air of quiet authority. Underneath that stately hood lay a 4.9-liter straight six that wasn't built for brute speed, but for a serenity of motion. It delivered a sense of calm, with a creamy torque curve and a refined hush that few could rival. Inside, the Silver Cloud truly dazzled. The cabin was a sanctuary from the outside world, lined with the finest Connolly hides and thick lamb's wool carpets, all accented by mirror-polished walnut that shimmered in the sunlight. The dashboard, with its row of beautifully damped switches and understated dials, was a masterclass in British craftsmanship. No detail was overlooked. Every seam, stitch, and panel was meticulously checked by hand. Doors closed with a solid, reassuring clunk, a sound that came to define proper luxury. And yet, the Silver Cloud wasn't just a car for chauffeurs. Increasingly, owners took the wheel themselves, relishing in the smooth steering and unflappable composure. The ride was uncannily smooth, thanks in part to advanced suspension, while the silence inside was almost cathedral-like. It was a rolling status symbol for dukes, diplomats, and industry titans. Even today, a Silver Cloud on the road commands respect, the kind earned by history, not hype. It's a reminder that in the world of luxury, true greatness doesn't need to announce itself. It simply glides by, dignified and serene, utterly assured in its own heritage. Cadillac Eldorado Brougham, 1957-1958. Cadillac's Eldorado Brougham was nothing short of an audacious gamble, a hand-built limited production dream machine intended to outshine Rolls-Royce and Mercedes at their own game. Introduced in 1957, the Brougham was a spectacle of late 50s futurism and luxury excess. Everything about it screamed no compromise, from its razor-sharp tail fins to the brushed stainless steel roof and suicide rear doors. Every single Brougham was built to order, assembled by artisans who lavished attention on the smallest details. Beneath the elegant exterior, a 365 cubic inch V8 provided effortless power, while the car's most radical feature was its self-leveling air suspension, designed to float over rough roads like a magic carpet. Step inside and you enter a realm more akin to a high-end penthouse than a mere car. Mouton carpeting covered the floors. The seats, upholstered in soft leather or even cashmere, offered heating, adjustment, and memory functions. The vanity kit included not only a perfume atomizer, but also a magnetic drinking glass, a gold-plated cigarette case, and a matching Evans compact, because nothing was too extravagant. The dashboard was a festival of brushed aluminum and jeweled switches. Convenience was the watchword. Automatic trunk release, polarized sun visors, even a signal-seeking radio, all at your fingertips. Production was kept to a rarefied 704 units, each sold at a price more than double most rival luxury cars, well into Rolls-Royce territory. This was no mere Cadillac. It was a statement, a moonshot, a declaration that American luxury could surpass the best Europe had to offer. Today, the Brougham is a collector's holy grail. Its blend of jet-age styling, technological marvels, and obsessive craftsmanship make it one of the most impressive, if impractical, luxury cars ever to grace American roads. For those who wanted to own not just a car, but a rolling legend, the Eldorado Brougham was the only answer. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, 1954-1957. Ask any car enthusiast about the 300 SL Gullwing, and you'll get tales of its record-setting performance and iconic doors. But look closer, and you see the 300 SL was also a landmark luxury car, wrapped in engineering bravado. Unveiled in 1954, its innovative space-frame chassis required those famous upward-swinging doors, giving the car its instantly recognizable silhouette. Yet the 300 SL was never just a pretty face. With the world's first production fuel-injected engine, a 3.0-liter straight-six making up to 215 horsepower, it was capable of 160 mph, earning its title as the fastest car of its day. Luxury, though, was everywhere. The interior was a sculpted environment with quilted leather seats, real chrome, and dash dials that looked like precision jewelry. Luggage was custom-fitted behind the seats, finished to the same standard as the rest of the cabin. Controls moved with a fluid smoothness, and visibility was surprisingly good for a sports car. The sensation of opening those doors in public was pure theater, a privilege reserved for an exclusive few, since just 1,400 examples were ever built. But the Gullwing's true luxury was its cosmopolitan character. It was the chosen ride of playboys, industrialists, and even royalty, seen as often outside Monte Carlo's casinos as at Le Mans. Its exclusivity and sophistication made it a symbol for a generation that craved speed, style, and social standing. Even the paint options were bespoke, often ordered to match the owner's yacht or mansion. In the end, the 300 SL Gullwing wasn't just a fast car or a beautiful one. It was a passport to a life of privilege, a masterpiece of form and function that could outshine any limousine in the parking lot. To own a Gullwing was, and still is, to say you've truly arrived. Lincoln Continental Mark II, 1956-1957. The Lincoln Continental Mark II was Ford's ultimate statement piece, a luxury flagship engineered with no consideration for cost or convention. Built for just 2 model years, 1956 and 1957, the Mark II was priced at nearly $10,000, making it the most expensive American production car of its time. For that price, buyers got a hand-built masterpiece, assembled in a dedicated facility where only the most skilled craftsmen worked. The Mark II's styling eschewed the flamboyant fins and chrome excesses of the era. Its lines were long, low, and perfectly proportioned, with subtle detailing that whispered of prestige. Chrome was used sparingly but effectively, and the iconic Continental spare tire bulge on the trunk made a bold but elegant statement. Beneath the hood, a big 368 cubic inch V8 delivered seamless, effortless power, paired to an automatic transmission tuned for velvety smoothness. Step inside, and the luxury becomes tactile. Bridge of Weir leather from Scotland covered the seats, while deep pile carpets and real walnut accents created an ambiance more reminiscent of a private club than a mere car. Almost everything was bespoke. Buyers could select custom colors and combinations, and the level of finish was nearly fanatical. The Mark II was designed to be as flawless on the inside as it was impressive on the outside. Even the undercarriage was painted and finished to the highest standards. Its clientele included celebrities like Frank Sinatra, Elizabeth Taylor, and the Shah of Iran, people who demanded the best and got it. Despite its exclusivity and immense cost, the Mark II was not a financial success for Ford, but it established the Continental name as a byword for American luxury. Today, collectors prize the Mark II not just for its rarity, but for its singular devotion to excellence, a car that set its own standard and never compromised. Bentley S1 Continental, 1955-1959. The Bentley S1 Continental is the car that defined grand touring for the connoisseur, a creation that fused British luxury with genuine driver engagement. Based on the stately S1 chassis, the Continental variant was produced in limited numbers, often featuring custom coachwork from Mulliner, Park Ward, or H.J. Mulliner. Each car was a unique work of rolling art, tailored to the owner's every whim, with no two quite alike. Under the hood, a silky 4.9-liter straight-six delivered ample power, tuned to make high-speed cruising across Europe both effortless and relaxing. Compared to the standard S1, the Continental was lighter and slightly more agile, designed for those who wanted to actually drive, not just be driven. This was the aristocrat's sports car, one that could whisk you from London to the Riviera with grace, silence, and a turn of speed that embarrassed many so-called performance cars of the day. The interior was a masterclass in British craftsmanship, hand-stitched leather, beautifully matched wood veneers, and switchgear that felt as though it had been carved from precious metal. There was a tactile sense of quality everywhere. Doors closed with a solid, authoritative thud, and every control moved with a precision that spoke of hundreds of hours of labor. Passengers sat in armchair comfort, surrounded by the finest materials money could buy. But what truly set the S1 Continental apart was its presence. On the road, it was understated but unmistakable, a car for those who didn't need to flaunt their wealth because everyone already knew. Today, the S1 Continental is the ultimate insider's classic, rarer than a Rolls, faster than most, and forever associated with the quiet confidence of true luxury. It was, and is, a car for those who know the value of refinement, discretion, and a hint of sporting edge. Packard Caribbean, 1953-1956. In its final glorious years, Packard threw everything it had into the Caribbean, a car built as a last stand against the rising tide of Cadillac and Lincoln dominance. The Caribbean was bold, impossible to mistake, especially as a convertible, with daring two-tone or tri-tone paint schemes and gleaming chrome wire wheels. Its body was lower and wider than Packard's other offerings, and its presence was pure "look at me," yet never vulgar, always dignified. The Caribbean's luxury went beyond mere looks. Packard lavished the car with technology that in the mid-1950s bordered on science fiction. Power steering, power brakes, power seats, and power windows were all standard. By 1956, the Caribbean featured a revolutionary self-leveling suspension that adjusted for load and terrain, ensuring an unbelievably smooth ride. The ride quality was the stuff of legend, so soft and composed that it made rough city streets feel like newly paved boulevards. Step inside, and the Caribbean envelopes its occupants in a world of maximalist luxury. Two-tone or tri-tone leather seats, deeply cushioned and supremely comfortable, greeted passengers, while the dashboard sparkled with full instrumentation and elegant chrome accents. The attention to detail was everywhere, from the stitching on the seats to the feel of the steering wheel in your hands. Only a few hundred were made each year, each a carefully assembled, almost bespoke product. Owning a Packard Caribbean was a badge of distinction, a way of signaling that you valued innovation and refinement. For collectors today, the Caribbean isn't just a rare car. It's a rolling time capsule of American ambition and optimism. It represents the last magnificent gasp of a storied mark and remains a symbol of luxury at its most exuberant and imaginative. A car that made every drive feel like a parade. Chrysler Imperial Crown, 1957-1959. By the late 1950s, Chrysler's Imperial Crown was unapologetically in pursuit of luxury supremacy. Styled under Virgil Exner's forward look, the Imperial was more than a mere car. It was a mobile declaration of status. The Crown's dimensions were almost theatrical, long, low, and impossibly wide, with tail fins that could have doubled as launch pads and headlamps that sat in chrome housings like museum spotlights. Its grille had the kind of intricate jewel-like detailing that made even Cadillacs look subdued. Beneath the striking exterior, the Imperial Crown backed up its bravado with serious engineering. The big Hemi V8 delivered mountains of torque, while torsion bar suspension and an isolated subframe gave the ride a velvety composure. Innovations abounded. The flight sweep, deck lid, push-button automatic transmission, and even optional air conditioning that seemed almost otherworldly at the time. The wraparound windshield and acres of glass made the interior feel expansive and airy, perfect for surveying the world in comfort. Inside, the Crown was unabashed in its luxury ambitions. Plush, broad seats swiveled to greet you as you entered. Deep pile carpets and textured fabrics hinted at custom tailoring. The dashboard was a riot of buttons, dials, and glimmering chrome, yet it all felt ergonomically right. Chrysler made sure you knew you were in the flagship, even down to the logoed clock and the unique gun sight taillights. While it was never built in Cadillac-like numbers, the Imperial Crown carved out a niche for those who wanted to one-up their peers at the country club. For a brief time, it offered a truly American alternative to the world's most luxurious limousines. Today, the late 50s Crown is cherished by collectors for its blend of brash styling and genuine substance. A car that made every arrival feel like a red carpet event. Fachel Vega FVHK 500 1954-1959. In an era dominated by American and German luxury, France answered with the Fachel Vega, a boutique brand that married Parisian style with transatlantic power. The FV series, culminating in the HK 500, was more than a car. It was a statement favored by celebrities, aristocrats, and jet-setters who wanted exclusivity and flair in equal measure. The look was pure haute couture, knife-edged lines, dramatic grille, a greenhouse of glass, and enough chrome to blind passers-by at sunset. But underneath, the Fachel Vega's heart beat with American muscle, courtesy of a Chrysler Hemi V8. This gave the car effortless acceleration and a reliability that many European rivals could only envy. The ride was supple, refined by French suspension tuning, and the steering precise. This was a car equally at home on a Riviera promenade or blitzing down the autoroute. Step inside, and you were greeted by an interior that felt more like the cockpit of a luxury jet than an ordinary automobile. The dashboard was adorned with aircraft-style toggle switches, intricate gauges, and a steering wheel that looked sculpted rather than cast. Supple leather, hand-fitted, covered the seats and panels, while the quality of assembly was obsessive. Each car was built to order, and the list of original owners reads like a who's who of mid-century celebrity: Picasso, Ava Gardner, Tony Curtis, Ringo Starr. For collectors, the Fachel Vega remains a symbol of the road less traveled, an exotic, glamorous alternative to the usual suspects. Its blend of French artistry, American power, and rarity make it a blue-chip classic. In the 1950s, if you drove a Fachel, you didn't just arrive, you made a scene. Jaguar Mark 9, 1958-1961. The Jaguar Mark 9 is the quintessential vision of British luxury, dignified, powerful, and supremely comfortable. Introduced at the end of the decade, it was the last of Jaguar's great saloons in the classic mold, a machine for statesmen, movie stars, and anyone who wanted to glide through life on a cushion of wool and walnut. Its broad stance, signature grille, and long hood made it a showstopper outside theaters and embassies alike. But beneath its traditional styling, the Mark 9 was teeming with technological innovation. It featured a powerful 3.8-liter XK straight-six, an engine with Le Mans pedigree, and became one of the first luxury cars to offer four-wheel disc brakes and power steering as standard. This made the Mark 9 as capable on the open road as it was impressive parked outside a country estate. It was also surprisingly nimble for its size, a rare feat for luxury cars of the era. Inside, the experience was all about comfort and opulence. Passengers enjoyed thick wool carpeting, fold-down walnut picnic tables, and seats upholstered in soft, aromatic leather. The dashboard was a symphony of gauges and toggle switches, all arranged within hand-polished wood that felt heirloom grade. Even the little details, the courtesy lights, the finish on the door pulls, spoke to Jaguar's pursuit of refinement. For the post-war British elite, the Mark 9 was the car of choice, a perfect blend of old-world gravitas and modern engineering. It was a car that whispered power rather than shouted it, and it set a tone of dignified sophistication that has become synonymous with the Jaguar brand. Today, the Mark 9 stands as a monument to an era when craftsmanship, comfort, and quiet confidence were the hallmarks of true luxury. Mercedes-Benz 300D Adenauer, 1957-1962. Few cars encapsulate post-war German prestige like the Mercedes-Benz 300D Adenauer. Named for Chancellor Konrad Adenauer, who famously used these as his official state cars, the 300D was a rolling symbol of the nation's return to luxury and craftsmanship. Its proportions were imposing, long, with upright styling and elegant fender lines. But the aura it projected was never brash, only supremely confident. The 300D's engineering was its secret weapon. The 3.0-liter straight-six featured fuel injection, cutting edge at the time, delivering robust power with astonishing smoothness. An automatic transmission, four-wheel independent suspension, and optional air conditioning put it at the very forefront of comfort and innovation. Riding in a 300D, you were insulated from the outside world. The experience was one of tranquil progress, not just mere transportation. Inside, the car was a temple of restraint. Polished wood and supple leather created an atmosphere of sober elegance, while the rear cabin was designed for dignitaries. Immense legroom, optional jump seats, and fold-out picnic tables for on-the-go meetings or meals. The build quality was famously over-engineered, with each component built to last for decades rather than years. The 300D Adenauer was a fixture at embassies, boardrooms, and exclusive hotels throughout Europe and beyond. It was a car for leaders, thinkers, and those who valued quiet authority. For the owner, it wasn't about showing off. It was about being above the fray, moving through life with the kind of serene composure that only true luxury can offer. Today, the 300D remains a benchmark for classic Mercedes-Benz excellence, a symbol of what happens when a car is built without compromise, for those who accept nothing less. Buick Roadmaster Riviera, 1952–1958. The Buick Roadmaster Riviera was a luxury statement for the masses, a flagship that captured the American dream in sheet metal and chrome. By the mid-1950s, the Riviera hardtop was a sensation. Its sweeping, sweep-spear bodylines and panoramic wraparound windshield made it instantly recognizable. A vision of motion, even while parked. Portholes on the fenders, white wall tires, and plenty of gleaming trim left no doubt. The Roadmaster was meant to impress. Beneath the glamour, Buick delivered serious performance and comfort. The heart of the Riviera was the famed Nailhead V8, an engine known for its stump-pulling torque and effortless cruising abilities. Paired with Buick's smooth Dynaflow automatic transmission, the Roadmaster wafted its passengers down highways with a relaxed authority, unbothered by hills or heavy loads. The ride was famously soft, with coil spring suspension soaking up bumps and isolating passengers from the chaos of post-war roads. Inside, the Roadmaster was a showstopper. The two-tone or even tri-tone leather interiors, elaborate dashboard with Wonderbar radios, and power everything, seats, windows, even the antenna, made it clear that Buick wanted owners to feel pampered. The interior was massive, easily accommodating 6 adults in comfort, while the trunk could swallow a family's luggage with ease. The attention to detail extended to the smallest touches, like the deep glove box, ornate steering wheel, and abundant chrome trim. But perhaps the Roadmaster Riviera's greatest luxury was accessibility. Unlike the rarefied Continentals and Rolls-Royces, the Roadmaster let ordinary Americans taste the high life. A successful doctor, business owner, or even a local celebrity could step into a Riviera and feel like a movie star, if only for a Sunday drive. Today, the Roadmaster Riviera stands as a reminder of an era when luxury was democratized and boldness was celebrated. It's a symbol of post-war optimism and American style, a car that brought luxury home. Alfa Romeo, 1900, Super Sprint, 1954–1958. If Italian luxury in the 1950s could be summed up in a single automobile, it might well be the Alfa Romeo 1900 Super Sprint. This coupe, bodied by master coach builders like Touring and Zagato, was the very picture of Milanese refinement and flair. Its elegant, flowing proportions, long hood, short rear deck, and airy greenhouse gave the Super Sprint a lightness that was as much about attitude as aesthetics. Beneath its seductive shape, the 1900 Super Sprint boasted a 2.0-liter twin-cam 4-cylinder engine. Advanced for its era, it delivered power with smooth, eager enthusiasm, making the Alfa as engaging to drive as it was to behold. The ride was a revelation, balancing composure and agility with the kind of grace that turned mountain passes and country roads into grand tours. For a luxury car, the Super Sprint was unexpectedly sporting, a dual personality that made it irresistible to discerning drivers. Inside, the Super Sprint embraced its role as a boutique luxury offering. Hand-stitched leather seats, jewel-like switchgear, and a minimalist yet sophisticated dash greeted occupants. The quality of assembly and materials was evident in every touch, from the solid click of the doors to the intricate gauges that dominated the instrument cluster. Even the carpeting and headliner were carefully selected, adding to the sense of bespoke comfort. The 1900 Super Sprint's exclusivity was another facet of its luxury. Produced in limited numbers, often to the specifications of demanding clients, each example carries the aura of something rare and special. In a world of tail fins and brash American chrome, the Alfa was a breath of elegant cosmopolitan air, a car for artists, architects, and the quietly successful. Today, it remains a collector's gem and a reminder that true luxury is as much about taste as it is about cost. Aston Martin DB24, 1953–1959. Long before Aston Martin became synonymous with James Bond, the DB24 was already turning heads for those who understood what true British Grand Touring luxury meant. This was a car designed for those who wanted to cross countries in comfort, blending a silken twin-cam straight-six with an aluminum body that looked as good as it performed. Built by hand, the DB24 set a new standard for what a luxury sports car could be in the 1950s. Its shape was subtle, refined. No tail fins or overwrought curves, just a purposeful stance and exquisite detailing. The real artistry was inside, where the DB24 greeted passengers with deep leather seats, polished wood fascia, and gauges that softly glowed at night. Every inch felt crafted rather than manufactured, with close-fitting panels, finely stitched hides, and elegant toggle switches. The sense of exclusivity was everywhere. Even among the elite, few could claim one as their own. A standout feature was the clever hatchback design, which, along with rear seats, even if they were best for children or luggage, made the DB24 surprisingly practical. The driving experience was everything one hoped for, effortless on the motorway, responsive on winding roads, and always composed no matter the pace. This blend of luxury and usability attracted celebrities, aristocrats, and the new class of international travelers who defined the jet-set era. For the connoisseur, the DB24 was not about excess, but about the satisfaction that comes from craftsmanship, subtlety, and a sense of occasion. Today, the DB24 is prized for its grace, rarity, and the way it encapsulates a golden age of British luxury motoring, a time when Grand Tourer meant style, comfort, and the promise of adventure on distant roads. Hudson Hornet Hollywood, 1952-1954. Not every luxury icon of the 1950s came from Detroit's biggest names. The Hudson Hornet Hollywood stands as proof that sometimes true presence comes from innovation and individuality. The Hornet Hollywood, a pillarless hardtop coupe, sat at the top of Hudson's line and embodied the step-down design that made these cars famous. A low center of gravity, exceptional handling, and a road-hugging ride that no other American car could match. The Hollywood edition was more than just sporty, it was plush. Inside, it featured broadcloth and leather seats, deep carpeting, and generous chrome and stainless steel trim. Power accessories, windows, seats, and more came standard. The legendary twin H-Power straight-six engine wasn't just fast, it was silken, delivering a distinctive blend of performance and refinement. Despite its lower stance, getting in and out was effortless, and passengers found themselves cocooned in a quiet, comfortable cabin that insulated them from the hustle and bustle outside. But what truly set the Hornet Hollywood apart was its aura. It wasn't flashy in the way of a Cadillac or a Chrysler, but it drew devoted buyers who valued engineering and comfort over trends. Loyal Hudsonites swore by their car's unique qualities, and the Hornet Hollywood became an under-the-radar favorite among racers, celebrities, and executives who wanted to stand out quietly. The Hornet Hollywood's rarity today only adds to its allure. Fewer were made, and even fewer survived, but those that do remain a testament to a forgotten brand's pursuit of luxury and innovation. For those who understand that luxury is often about individuality and engineering, the Hudson Hornet Hollywood is a true classic, a car that still inspires admiration among those in the know. Lancia Aurelia B20 GT, 1951-1958. To finish our journey, we return to Italy and the quietly stunning Lancia Aurelia B20 GT, a car that redefined what luxury meant for sophisticated drivers across Europe. At first glance, its Pininfarina lines seem elegant yet reserved, favoring a subtle curve over a shouty flourish. But for those who know, the Aurelia is a car of firsts. It debuted the world's first production V6 engine, delivering power with a creamy smoothness and unique sound that set it apart from every rival. The B20 GT was designed for grand touring, with a suspension and chassis that made it as at home on a twisting alpine road as it was cruising the autostrada. Its steering was light and precise, its brakes powerful and confidence-inspiring. The cabin was an oasis of understated Italian craftsmanship, hand-stitched leather, rich wood, and instruments that looked like they belonged in a fine watch rather than a car. Passengers enjoyed comfortable, supportive seats, a practical rear bench, and a trunk generous enough for cross-continental adventures. But more than features, the Aurelia B20 GT possessed a soul. It attracted artists, writers, and racing drivers, people who prized engineering excellence and subtlety above flash. The Aurelia made its mark at the Mille Miglia and other storied races, but it was equally suited to an evening out in Rome or Paris. Every mile felt special, every detail a reminder that true luxury doesn't clamor for attention. It earns it with depth and character. Today, the Lancia Aurelia B20 GT is revered as one of the world's most influential GT cars and a pinnacle of 1950s luxury. For those who appreciate artistry, engineering, and the magic of understated elegance, there is nothing quite like it. Luxury in the 1950s was never just about opulence. It was about ambition, innovation, and style that stood the test of time. From American dreamboats to Continental masterpieces, these 15 cars showed the world that true luxury knows no boundaries. They remain icons, reminders that sometimes, to stand apart, you have to build not for the masses, but for the dreamers. Which one would you take home? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more automotive legends.